What's up, friends? I just wanted to quickly go over another metaprogramming concept in Ruby. This time we're going to talk about const get, which is a way to just pass a string or a symbol and get back the constant value. So if you had just some top level thing defined here in main, like maybe we have some temperature value that is a constant. If we wanted to get that further down in our program, somewhere far away, we didn't really have access to this variable, what we could do is we could call module.constGet and pass in the string value here for that variable. So if we print this out, we should see 32, and we do. So this is just one way that we can get constants that are defined. And it turns out that classes that are named in Ruby, so if you have a class whose name is cat, so we say class cat, and then maybe we just give it a method here. Let's actually, again, initialize with some name. We'll say like @name equals name, and then meow is the method, and we'll just puts hi, and then their name. Okay, so what's cool about this is with const get, we can access the cat class just by having that string value for the name cat. So if we just say, puts, or actually we can just call module.constGet and pass in the name of the class as a string. Then we can call so that will give us back like the class, right? So we could say like class. So it's one common way that you might see, or one thing that you might see in Ruby is folks will name class if like the thing stored in the class is the class object itself rather than an instance of the class. Technically it's an instance of the class, but yeah, so the class cat will be stored in this class that starts with the K. Let's actually just call it the cat class like that. So if we wanted to create a new cat, we could say like Fido is cat class.new Fido, and then we could say Fido.meow, because now that we have the constant, right, because we called const get, we're getting back the instance of, or the cat class, and now we can create an instance of it by newing it up just like so. So let's run this again, and now we see, hi, I'm Fido, because that Fido.meow is the method on the instance of the cat class. So one additional thing that we might look at is here I've been calling const get directly on module, but you can call const get directly on the class object itself, and that will sort of like start the lookup for the constant inside of the cat class. So if we had cat and it was just like, I don't know, let's say xxx equals thing, I don't know. So if we say, now we can say just like puts mod or cat.constGet, and we can put in xxx, and that should print out thing, right? Because we're looking up thing inside of the cat class, which is totally cool. But if we pass in temp here, it turns out that it'll also work, right? So we're going to get 32 again at the bottom, and that's because when we call const get directly on a class like this, it will start looking inside the class. And then it will start looking in the class's parent scopes. So we're able to see temp. If we were to create another class, dog, and if in here we had another constant called YYY, another thing, maybe. If we were to try to look up the YYY constant from the cat class, we wouldn't be able to find it because it's inside of the dog. It's defined inside of the dog class. So if we run this, we get a failure because this is not an initialized constant, right? Because YYY isn't defined inside of cat, and it's also not defined inside of the level that cat is defined at. So this can be super helpful and super useful when thinking about the way that Rails sort of initializes controllers, right? Given the routes.rb DSL or domain specific language, because when we're talking about Rails, we just say resources, and then maybe we say, posts, right? And this will create for us a posts route. It'll create for us posts/ID. It'll create posts, right? So when we call resources posts, we're passing in this one symbol, and it knows to create all of these different methods and it knows which controller actions to call by convention, etc., etc. But what's interesting is when we use this resources method, we're only passing this name. We're not actually passing anything else. So if you have like a class, posts controller, let's think about how we could define a method resources that takes in the symbol posts and knows to new up the posts controller when it's receiving one of these sort of actions. Well, we might define a method like this, resources, and then let's just say like the type or something. And then we want to say, like, let's take that string or that symbol value and we'll turn it into a string by saying like controller class name is equal to, and so in Rails, there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes from active support that allows you to like capitalize or title case or whatever your string values. So here I'm just going to kind of like take the naive approach and say let's say, actually is capitalize, is that directly in Ruby? Let's see, pry test.capitalize. I think that's in, oh, it's okay, cool. It's in Ruby. So we'll just say like t.capitalize. That's going to be the controller name. And then we could say controller class is equal to module.const get controller class name. And that should give us back an instance of the controller. And then we could say like controller class dot index, right? Or something, whatever, like, we would need some sort of like if statement. If the route is like posts or something, like we're just getting the index route, then we'll say, def index puts I'm in the index. Okay, so now let's just call resources posts and see what happens. Okay. Controller class, what happened here? So it says undefined local variable controller class name. Const-troller. Okay, try again. Undefined method index for post controller class. Oh, but it's here. Oh, you know what? This needs to be in .new.index. We didn't actually initialize a new instance of it. Okay, so now we're, because controller class, again, remember, this is going to be like the posts controller, so we still have to initialize an instance of it and call the method on it. So now we get back I'm in the index. So this will be helpful, and module.const get is cool. It's really powerful, and I'm excited to use that when we go through and rebuild a little small light version of Rails to just deeply understand exactly how things might work. Cool. All right. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.